intercessors are broke. Their children are being sent out of school. They don't have rent. They're having issues. And now, when they go to the pastors for help, the pastors get overwhelmed with their problems. Today you're paying their school fees. Tomorrow they are being thrown out of the house. So there's gonna be a division, a big gap between the intercessor and the pastor. The pastor will start avoiding the intercessor, and the intercessor will stop now concentrating on their ministry to pray and keep the ministry up, the fire burning through prayer, and start now hustling and looking for money. So when that is done, it means the hedge, that wall of fire, the wall that the enemy cannot penetrate, is down. So when it's down, he would send the devil agents, to go to the churches. Now, when we go to the church, we know we hit. It's like when somebody comes to rob a home and they deal with the security guard. They make him unconscious. It's very easy for the thieves to enter and access the premises and take whatever they want. So whenever we were going to attack a ministry, we would start with the intercessors. Now, after you attack the intercessors, there's another person that we are targeting, and that is the leader. Because we know once we hit the leader, these followers, most of them will scatter, because it's like a group of, maybe there are so many dogs that have attacked you, and you single out the leading dog and you hit that dog, the rest of the dogs will scatter. So we would strategize now on how to attack the pastors. And how to attack the pastors: one, we know very well that some of these pastors are so dedicated to serving God, but they have some areas in their lives that are weak. When I say areas in their lives that are weak, I'm not talking about the pastor as an individual. I'm talking about the people that surround this pastor, starting from the pastor's wife to the pastor's children, and then the people that they're having in their homes. So if we could get one person that could help us access the pastor's life, because before we would launch an attack, we had to strategize. We had to first know who this pastor is, what is his area of strength, and what is his area of weakness. So we know that this pastor, his area of strength, he prays a lot and he fasts. So we know maybe this pastor's area of strength, he's always in the Bible, he's reading the word, so he's knowledgeable because he's always in the word. So we get to know his area of strength. He has a big supporting system. Maybe there are people who finance everything that he does, so he doesn't have to think about the resources that are going to do every project that they have as a ministry. Maybe open air crusades and all that. So we would now launch an attack towards the funders, the people that are funding the ministry. So, but we needed to get all that information by being part of the group, part of them. So whenever I would go to a church and I'm on a mission, I would first of all start by befriending the pastor's children, because I know this pastor's child is connected to another pastor's child and they are all friends. So I'll also find my way in, and then I'll get access to their families. So my assignment when I was serving the enemy was mostly to target the pastor's children. And how? Because I knew very well that this pastor's child, if this child follows the ways of the father, they are going to be stronger than their father or stronger than their mother in ministry. So I knew that by attacking them, I'm hitting two birds with one stone. So I'm attacking the pastor, the father's ministry, and I'm also attacking this child's ministry. So I would befriend them, be part of the ministry, maybe join choir, and the child is also in choir, and we become friends. And mostly it was easy for me to befriend the opposite sex, not because I was interested in them, but because I wanted to have a door opened in their lives. So when I befriend the opposite sex, I'm so committed. We are now in the same age bracket, and they are now free to open up to me, and I'm bringing some ideas, and they'll tell me my parents will not allow me to do such a thing. Oh, my parents will not allow me to club. I would have loved to join you guys, but my parents will not allow me. Then now that's when I bring in ideas, you know. You don't have to tell them everything that you're doing. Sometimes you have to do your things as you. Maybe you can tell them we are going for this overnight, and this overnight you can come, and then we go to club, and then we'll find a way, you know. So I bring up those ideas, and when the youth listen to that, because their age is the age to rebel, and they are finding somebody for the first time who is interested in what they love, because most of the times their parents are traveling nations, they are preaching, and they feel like their parents are too busy for them. So this comes to the pastors. No matter how God has opened doors and blessed you and blessed your ministry, don't forget that your ministry begins at home. These children here also are part of your ministry. So if you today, this week you're traveling to Australia, the other week you're traveling to the US, this week you're in Kenya, the other week you're in Tanzania, what time are you going to give your children? Your children are being left out, and that is where the enemy is coming in. So I would bring in those ideas, and now they would feel like for the first time there is somebody who is saved, because I would be like, I'm saved, but understand some of their challenges. So now they would be easy, like it would be easy for them to open up to me about their challenges and problems and things they are facing in the home. So instead now complaining, our dad is never there, our dad is always in ministry, our mom is always bringing visitors, we don't even have time, home is boring, and then all that. So I also bring in some new ideas. On weekends you can come, and then we go out, there is this place, there is fun, you know, youth gather in such an area, and then they feel like, yes, you can tell her, maybe you're going for a youth fellowship, maybe there is a family gathering somewhere, or maybe we are going to do choir practice here, and then we perform on Sunday. So what we do, we organize, and then we do, of course, the practice, but we know that we have 2 hours to have fun after the practice, and the parents will be thinking that the children are practicing for Sunday. So and then for the boys, when a boy gets closer to a female, of course there is that attraction, but me, because I was not interested in them, I would also play hard to get, and now this boy begins to have feelings for me, and me, I'm not interested in him. So he starts at night, I start now calling their names, because I had a list of pastors' children. I start calling their names and sending spirits to sleep with them. So for them, they think they are dreaming and sleeping with me. They think it's a wet dream, yet they are sleeping with demons. And now when they sleep with demons, the demons enter them and they get possessed, and then they start now lasting after the girls in the church, and now there is a door, immorality. So that's why you find a pastor's son is promising every girl in the church to marry them, and he's not serious about it, but it's the spirit in him that is using him to break the ministry. When he does that, and the parents of these girls find out, of course they will get out of church, and some of them will begin to doubt Christianity. They'll say, pastor's son wanted to destroy our daughters. So I mean, thing called Christianity is a lie, it's fake. Yet it's not fake. This child is under attack, and then we would bring ideas to make them steal from their parents, because there is so much money, everybody's busy. Now these children can also have access to the finances of the ministry or to their parents' finances, and they start stealing, and then we would introduce them now to drinking, to partying, that life. And to satisfy that life, you have to have money, because there is a lot of money. So they get the money, imagine money that is supposed to do the work of God, and they use it to satisfy the fleshly desires. So and then they will be the one to even fund us when we are going to party and club. This pastor's son has taken a chunk of money from the offering basket or from wherever they've taken it from, and then they are ones that are sponsoring the alcohol and the shisha, the drugs and all that. So that's how we would access the pastor's children. Then we would now bring in sponsors. These sponsors would appear like they are interested in supporting the ministry, yet their agenda is to bring crooked ideas like homosexuality, lesbians, all those ideas to the younger generation. Remember, I told you, I've been telling you, they are not targeting you, the adults. They are targeting the younger generation. So there's what they call the Sunday school. The Sunday school where these babies, where you parents, when you go to church, you send your children to Sunday school. So we would now bring in sponsors that appear to be interested in children ministry. Pastors, you have to be careful the visitors or the people you invite to minister to the children. Of course, because most of them are now blinded by the money. When this person is funding the ministry, it's very easy to trust them with people's children. And when they go there in the Sunday school, they identify the brilliant children. And most of these brilliant children, unfortunately, are coming from humble families where the parents are struggling financially, and then they offer sponsorships, bursaries, things like that. And then when the parent accepts and starts trusting them with the children, the sponsor can have an apartment somewhere where he or she wants to meet with the children that he or she is sponsoring. And then the parents can allow that maybe over the weekends, during holidays, they have to go and meet with their sponsor. And then now that's when the sponsor introduces the idea of LGBTQ in these youth. And then now you see the youth in Sunday school, the boys are with earrings, the girls, everything is now changing, it's strange. And
start talking about tolerance,
yes,
diversity.
Yes, and now because they are funders, you cannot talk about the funders, even if the intercessor, God has revealed it to an intercessor that the enemy has come through this funder. There's no way the pastor is going to pay attention to them because they are already on the receiving end. This sponsor is buying the ministry bus. The sponsor is financing the open air crusades, and the sponsor is having access to the youth. So they are having youth programs, and in those youth programs, of course, because you, the parents, are old, you cannot attend. And sometimes I think it's because many parents are too lazy. So when they find a person who is ready to give their children time, they just send them off, thinking that they will get time by themselves, not knowing that when they send off their children, they are sending them to the enemy. So we would do that. And I started enslaving pastors' children. Like, I would use them against their parents. So the pastor's wife cannot even think straight because she's thinking about the son. She found some drugs in his pocket. So now she will not be able to stand with the husband or give the husband solid advice about concerning the ministry, because she's now thinking about the drugs that she found in the son's pocket. And now once the head of the ministry is under attack, then these other people is just a walkover. Then the ministry also, the message is going to be compromised, because you cannot talk about immorality and hit it so hard knowing that your son has slept with over 20 girls in the church. And then you cannot also bash alcohol and all that, knowing that yesterday you caught your daughter drinking alcohol in her bedroom. So now they start covering up and watering down the message, and the fire on the altar goes down. The intercessors are looking for money. The pastor has compromised because he's on the receiving end. The pastor's wife is just in her own world, and now the congregation also is doing whatever they feel like doing. And now the message is not to chase away the people. Like the message we give, many pastors cannot give it because it will not bring money in the basket. So now, of course, after you give this information, many people are many people's eyes are open and they are knowledgeable, you cannot take advantage of them. So they rather keep you there comfortably, but as long as you're bringing money on the basket, even if you're married to 2 wives and the pastor knows, he will pretend like he doesn't know, and he will allow you to give a word of encouragement on Sunday, because now it turns into a business. So when that happens, it's very easy for them to now plot on how to steal the blessings, because that is the aim. They don't have blessings, but why do they appear to be successful? Is because he came to steal, kill, and to destroy. So now when they see that the whole system has been crushed, people are now doing whatever they feel like doing. Nobody can talk about sin and say that this is sin. The pastors are now ready to wed the gay couples. Everything has now gone down. The fire on the altar is down. Then now that's when they strategize on how to rob the blessings of the children of God. Because when they take what belongs to you, a piece of you will be in Babylon while you're pretending that you're worshiping God. You're worshiping God, but when there is a deal of corruption, you'll be the first one to go for it because you're financially struggling. Maybe you have a loan and somebody brings a corrupt deal that is going to enable you pay that loan and then remain with something to start with. You will definitely sign without thinking about God. And when you do that, the more you do that, the more the enemy pulls you further away from God. And by the time you realize, many Christians have walked out, and some of them are just church goers, but they don't have the fear and the love of God. So we had some ladies who were in our church, and they were given big positions in church, but we know very well that they were trafficking drugs to China. And this because they had money and they were financing the ministry. Nobody will talk against what they are doing or talk about it, because these people are supporting the church, and that's where the enemy wants to put us as the body of Christ. He wants you to be, yes, accept your Jesus, go and worship him, but I hold your finances, because if I hold your finances, you bow down to me, you worship me. So he knows the strategy, and that is what he's using against. Most of these pastors started well, but their finances, something the enemy that they had, that the enemy took from them, there was a door that was open and the enemy took something from them, and because they have to keep going back with that, they start bowing to the system, they start compromising, and before you know, they are totally off. So now we would meet and gather and strategize on how to fight the children of God. Now we would fight their schools, we would fight their businesses, we would fight everything that they are trying to do that will empower them financially. The enemy wants to be in control of Christians' finances. So anything a Christian is doing, they'll put it down. And they see the businesses that belong to Christians by the amount of light that shines from the stars that are connected to that ministry. Because everybody has a star. A Satanist is able to see the star and know that this star is a blessing.
Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. God bless.